present something new, which is I also love, which is also mineral, and it's kind of specifically for the eye area. Again, I think it's really smooth. I think it's pleasant to put on. And the next thing on the label on all of these is broad spectrum. So what does broad spectrum mean? So we talked about the different ultraviolet rays. We have UVA and UVB. UVB causes burning. So SPF is only measuring UVB. This one has an SPF of 40. So it's saying that you can go in the sun 40 times as long while wearing this as you could without it and still not get red. 40 of SPF blocks 97.5% of rays. So that's perfectly acceptable. Then broad spectrum. So broad spectrum is a term to look for when you're buying sunscreen. Broad spectrum means that it was tested for UVA blockage. UVA is what causes aging. A is for aging. So, as a dermatologist, I want to protect people from skin cancer and burning, but I also do a lot of anti-aging, and I want to protect people from photo aging. And so I want to protect people from UVA. UVA is much more ubiquitous than UVB. UVA gets through glass, whereas UVB doesn't. So UVA comes through your windows in your house, and it comes through the windows of your car. So you want to so if you just find a sunscreen that says an SPF of 100 and it doesn't say broad spectrum, then you're not necessarily getting UVA blockage, and you're getting all of that radiation coming in through your car window as you're driving or coming in through your window at your house. So you want to find broad spectrum. This is not a term that beauty companies can throw around. It's not like things that are unregulated, like clean beauty and things like that have no real meaning. This is something that's really specific. It requires trials to be done and submitted to the FDA. And the FDA will tell a sunscreen whether they are allowed to use the term broad spectrum. So it really means something. So when you look at that SPF, that's a term regulated by the FDA. If it says broad spectrum, it means that the FDA has determined, based on studies, that this blocks a significant amount of UVA. Now, UVA is particularly important to block for aging. UVA is also close to visible light. So the way that our light spectrum works, right, is you have infrared, which is like heat. Then it shifts to red. So some animals can see in infrared, humans can't. But as soon as it hits red, we can see those rays. Then it's going to shift from red to orange to yellow to green to blue. After blue, it starts to turn violet, right? And then we get to ultraviolet. So blue light is right on the border of ultraviolet. So when we're blocking ultraviolet, we're mostly blocking B because that's the SPF. Then we're looking for broad spectrum to block A. Now, there are some conditions and some people who have certain hyperpigmentation, like melasma or the mask of pregnancy, which is more of a hormonal darkening of your skin, which is super common. In those conditions, you want to block even more than UVA. You want to block some blue light. You want to get into the visible light spectrum. The way we know that a sunscreen is blocking some visible light is if it has a little tint to it. And if it has a tint, then it probably has iron oxide in it. And iron oxide is going to be listed in the inactive ingredients. And it's listed in the inactive ingredients because the FDA is not considering iron oxide a drug. But as a dermatologist, I'm telling you that iron oxide is effective. And I'm going to present this one again because I know that it has iron oxide in it. And I know it's sold out, and I'm sorry. But this one has iron oxide in it. Most tinted mineral sunscreens do. You can look for it in the inactive ingredients, and that is a way to make sure that you're covering some blue light. The sun emits a lot of blue light. That's just visible light that we're bathing in at all times, and that can cause hyperpigmentation too. So you want to use something that has a little bit of a tint to it. Let's talk about the body, and let's use that as a way to talk about water resistant. So